Dia Div, agus falchigo di, Terra IncogWeirdo mo carjas, hello, and welcome to Terra IncogWeirdo, my friends. This is reading number 4 of Tarot IncogWeirdo, and last time I did readings about the Cascadia Subduction Zone, and it occurred to me that, well, the readings, you can see it in part 1, kind of left us with a very large time period sort of up in the air as to when the event might occur. My last reading indicated that it will occur, the big major Cascadia Subduction Zone event will occur prior to 2050. Now, I've just done 4 other readings trying to quantify the time period, and the cards keep telling me the same thing, that the factors that will make this event occur are not in place yet, and so it cannot really give me an answer. So the problem is I'm not asking a question in the way that it can give me an answer, okay, because this time period is clearly not fixed because there's too many moving parts, and it has to do with the earth and how the earth works, and the atmosphere and the oceans and human interaction, and possibly influences from outside of this planet. There's no telling you. You don't have to leave your mind open, but I do. I don't know how things work, and so I'm just always trying to leave my mind open to constant updates on my thinking and my understanding of this construct in which we all live. So that being said, I think what I need to ask my cards is not when, but when. Your best guess, cards. When do you think this is going to happen? Okay, now, I'm terrible in reading cards with numbers, but because it's already told me that this event will occur between now and 2025, that's a 25-year span. Well, my cards just happen to have 25 cards in the deck. Okay, my deck just happens to have 25 cards, okay? So I'm going to go against my normal practice, and I'm going to try to read this strictly on the numbers, okay? And that'll be more like towards the end of the reading, like the outcome. Okay, so in case you've never been here for a Terra IncogREADO Tarot IncogWeirdo reading, I do a star spread, but I do it laid out in a line to make it easier on video, in the video format. First, I will shuffle the cards and cut them, and the first card I pull will be nature of the question. The second card that I pull will be my reason for asking. The third card that I pull will be the factors to be considered regarding the question. The fourth card is the solution, advice, or comment to the question. And card 5 is the outcome, which usually extrapolates or gives extra information on the entire reading. Okay, so cards, all upright and in order. I want to know, okay, since you couldn't tell me before when I asked previous questions about time frames for when the Cascadia Subduction Zone would slip, I am now asking you, as my beloved deck of cards, who I have read for 40 years now. This is our 40-year anniversary together. This is maybe one of the longest relationships I've ever had in my life, except with my brothers and sisters. This is indeed the longest relationship. It's definitely longer than my relationship with my husband. So we're tight. Me and the cards are tight, okay? So cards, please, I need your help and I need your input. Okay, I'm asking you, I know this is odd, but I'm asking you for your opinion on when you think the Cascadia Subduction Zone is going to go, and I'm going to ask to read these last two cards in terms of the number of the card. Okay? All right? You got it, deck? You get me? Okay. All right. I think it gets me. All right. When cards, your best guess, do you think that the Cascadia Subduction Zone event will occur? Okay. The nature of the question is Osiris, and Osiris is the card for stability. And the nature of the question is about the stability of the ground upon which we stand. Because when the Cascadia Subduction Zone goes, landslides will be one of the big problems, and the ground beneath our feet, all people who live here, is going to drop 6 feet. So literally the ground's going to be pulled out from under us. Okay, so stability is the nature of the question. Point of interest, air. Okay, I am asking specifically, okay, because the previous readings that I just did, I didn't do them on air. These readings I just did to try to zero in on a time frame were very up in the air. It can't be fixed because the physical factors to be considered that make this event occur have not all fallen into place. It's kind of like the tumblers in a lock. All the tumblers are not in place yet, and that essentially makes the question impossible to answer in any other way other than my card's opinion. Okay, factors to be considered. Fire and conflagration. Okay, I just got a vision of volcanic eruptions. The mountain range, I live in the coastal mountain range, and then to the east of me is the Willamette Valley, and then to the east of the Willamette Valley is the Cascade Range, which further south is called the Sierra Nevadas. And this is a volcanic range, and I had a bit of an intuition that the event will be preceded by volcanic eruptions in the Cascadia chain. So we'd be maybe talking about like Mount St. Helens, Mount Hood, Mount Baker, Mount Wilson, the Three Sisters, Mount Bachelor, Mount Shasta. Okay, so look for volcanic eruptions in the Pacific Northwest along that chain. Okay, all the hair standing up on my body, so that usually indicates that I'm onto something. All right, solution, advice, comment given. We're looking for numbers. Okay, there's 25. Yes, thank you, cards. He's like, I've already told you I've done the best I can. Within 25 years, fertility with a sacrifice. Okay, we're reading this for the number, okay, for number 25, but this means like the earth has growth spurts, and to us this is like a disaster, but to the earth this is like she's growing, she's doing her thing, you know. So she's going to grow and she's going to become, but the sacrifice is that the Pacific Northwest is going to get destroyed in the process. But to the earth, you know, it's just another growth spurt, essentially. Okay, 25 years. All right, so the outcome, I'm assuming, is maybe gonna, because this is the limit, the number limit on the cards, 25, All right, maybe it'll give us a bit of a range. Okay, so the outcome is 24. I knew it was going to happen. Okay. All right. Okay. So my cards are not willing to extrapolate further than 25 years on this Cascadia Subduction Zone event, and it makes me understand why the readings I tried to do to sort of narrow down the time frame were just not working. It just kept saying it's hidden. All the factors are not in place. You know, stop trying to make me answer a question I can't answer. Okay, but the cards are feeling secure enough and stable enough to tell us that the big boom will occur within 25 years, 25 years. So we can always check back in later, IncogWeirdos, because the factors are going to eventually fall into place. The earth processes are going to keep moving. The plates are going to keep shifting. I have a feeling that, the prior reading I had was super interesting. And you know what? I want to talk about this a little bit. The prior reading in part 1 that I had indicated that there was going to be something going on with the ocean levels that was going to contribute to the Cascadia Subduction Zone going. And when I talked to my Terra Incog husband about it, he said, well, that's exactly what Jason Breshears said. And my husband is a big proponent and follower of Jason Breshears, who talks, and his channel is Archaix, I think it with an X. And he talks much about the Phoenix event, which supposedly pretty much wipes out civilization, like on a specific timeline, and it comes hand in hand with an environmental event called a vapor canopy. The vapor canopy collapses, and when it collapses, mud rains down from the sky, and it just completely screws with society and with civilization, and essentially a resetting event for the world, for the earth and the planet. And after I told my husband about, I showed him the video of my last part 1, and he said that very much reflects what Jason Breshears says, because Jason says, I think, oh darn, I wish my husband was here so he could give me the exact date, but prior to 2050, it might be 2040 that the next Jason is predicting from his reading and his mathematical calculations that the next Phoenix event will occur. Phoenix event. It's kind of like the world is consumed in a conflagration and it grows back from the ashes, and I'm pretty sure that's what they mean by Phoenix event. So sitting in the factors to be considered spot, I think very well. Okay, once again, we've got another bolstering of the possibility that a Phoenix event or some type of cataclysm involving the atmosphere and water, which my prior reading was very specific about, the atmosphere, will trigger will actually be the event that triggers all of these earth changes, and also something that came up in this position with the prior reading was twins, which in the only way I could read it in regards to a question that has to do with the earth sciences is a polarity flip, a flip of the magnetic poles, okay? And I believe, and I may be incorrect about this, and unfortunately I don't have the Terra Incog husband here to let me know, but I do believe that pole flips may be part of that whole Phoenix event vapor canopy scenario. If any of you know, let me know in the comments below, but my previous reading did indicate an extremely scary pole flip, and a pole flip would disrupt all of the natural processes on this planet and would be a much greater catastrophe even than the Cascadia Subduction Zone Event. So it looks like we have our answer, folks. Right now we're going for prior. It's going to happen within the next 25 years, and check back later, because hopefully those factors to be considered will coalesce and we will be able to get a more accurate answer as we get closer to the event, but not too close because we need time to get out of the PNW. And you know what? Something else to be thought about is because of global warming, and the way the environment is changing these days, a lot of people are starting to move to this part of the world. Well, I would just caution all of you to just hang on there a minute, okay? You're moving into an extremely volatile section of the planet. We are stuck between the Cascadia Subduction Zone and the mega volcano that's sitting underneath of Yosemite. There's like a mega caldera. So it's like stuck between a rock and a hard place, right? And I would seriously think long and hard about moving here. I know we got lots of water and the climate is temperate and it's beautiful up here, but how do you want to die? Is my question. Do you want to die in some massive, horrific, like earthquake, landslide, get sucked out to sea in the tidal flow of a tsunami wave? I feel like if you decide to move here, you are really rolling the dice and you are taking your chances. So people, think about it long and hard before you decide to move to the wonders of Oregon and anywhere up here in the Pacific Northwest. It is an amazing place to live, but it is one of the most dangerous places in the world to live. Okay, so I think I've pontificated enough. And that will be all for today at Tarot IncogWeirdo. And I would really like you guys to please send me in some questions that we can answer here. Purple Mommy gave us some great questions about Marian apparitions and D.B. Cooper. It was so cool to read those. And I think that's reading number, I don't know, maybe reading number 3. I'm sorry. Once again, I told you I'm not good with numbers, and I'm probably mixing them up. Tarot IncogWeirdo Purple Mommy edition was super cool. So please send me in your questions. What do you want to know about the strange, unusual? What's going on with the Earth? What's going on, is the Earth flat? Do aliens live here with us? Do they have a compact with the government they're allowed to abduct a certain amount of people in exchange for their technology. I've heard that. There's tons and tons of questions out there to be answered. So what do you want to know? What have you always wondered about? Give me the questions and I'll do a reading for you, and we'll see what Auntie Angie's cards have to say. And God bless my cards. I do love them. So thanks for being here today with me and my Terra deck here on Terra, IncogWeirdo, the land where para is normal. So we'll see you next time, beautiful Incog Weirdos. I love you very much. Aslan Gofal. See ya. Bye-bye.